Welcome to the Deep Dive. We often talk about words that change the world, speeches that echo across centuries, really shaping how we think and live. Today we're looking at one of the most significant addresses ever, Prophet Muhammad's last sermon. You might also know it as Khutbatul Wada, the farewell sermon. And just a quick note for clarity, as we discuss the prophet, you'll hear us say, peace be upon him, and when referring to God, glorified and exalted be he, it's just a way to show respect within the discussion. Now, for this deep dive, we're drawing on some really insightful articles from Muslim SG, the Imahad blog, and Human Appeal. Great sources. Our goal here is pretty straightforward. Unpack these materials, pull out the core insights from this incredible sermon, and, well, give you a shortcut to understanding its universal lessons and why they still matter so much today. So let's start by setting the scene. This wasn't just any speech. Can you paint a picture for us? Where and when did this happen?
Yeah, absolutely. So this was delivered on the ninth day of Zulhijjah. That's the last month in the Islamic lunar calendar. It was the 10th year after the Hijra, the Prophet's migration, which puts it around 632 in the Gregorian calendar.
Okay.
And the location was Mount Arafah near Makkah. Critically, this was during the Prophet's, peace be upon him, first and only Hajj pilgrimage.
It's only Hajj, wow.
Yes, which is exactly why it's often called the Hajj of Farewell. And there's another layer here. It's also known as the Hajj of Completion.
Completion, why that?
Because it was during this pilgrimage that a really key verse from the Quran, from Surah Al-Ma'idah, was revealed. It says, today I have perfected for you your religion and completed my blessing upon you and approved for you Islam as religion.
Wow, so a sense of finality of the message being complete.
Exactly. It signified the culmination of the divine message through Islam.
And you can just feel the weight of that moment. The sources mention the prophet, peace be upon him, since this might be his last major address. Imagine standing before, over 100,000 people? Knowing these might be your final public words to them all. The atmosphere must have been electric.
It really must have been, and his opening words captured that sense of finality. He said, "Oh, people, listen well to my words, for I do not know. Perhaps I may never meet you after this year in this place again."
Chilling, really.
Yeah.
Sets the stage immediately.
Definitely. It signals everyone to pay close attention. And it's worth noting, too, some scholars see the sermon not as one single verbatim text, but more like a collection.
A collection.
Yeah, like a compilation of powerful statements he made during that period, remembered and passed down by different people. It just encourages us to look at the themes maybe with a bit more nuance.
Okay, that makes sense. So with that historical context, that incredible setting, what's the first major theme that jumps out from the sources? Was message number one?
Well, right at the forefront is this incredibly strong emphasis on human dignity and the sanctity, the sacredness of life itself.
Sacredness of life. How did he phrase that?
The words were very direct. Verily, your lives and your wealth are sacred and forbidden upon you until you meet your Lord, as sacred as this day and this month are.
So he's linking the value of human life and property directly to the holiness of that specific day and month.
Precisely. The Hajj pilgrimage, the month of Zulhijjah, these are deeply sacred times in Islam. He's saying human life and possessions are just as inviolable. And then there's this immediate practical instruction: hurt no one so that no one may hurt you.
Hurt no one. Seems simple, but the sources suggest it's broader than just physical harm.
Absolutely. They clarify hurt covers everything physical, yes, but also emotional, psychological abuse, harmful words, even, nonverbal things like dismissive gestures. It's really comprehensive.
It's like a call for constant self-awareness, isn't it? Thinking about how everything we do, everything we say lands on others. It's about actively building peace from the ground up.
Yeah, building peace by committing individually to non-harm. And this ties directly into the idea of community and brotherhood, he also stressed.
Ah, okay. How so?
Well, there's a related saying, hadith, where the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, "A Muslim is a brother of another Muslim, so he should not oppress him, nor should he hand him over to an oppressor."
Meaning you stand up for each other, you protect each other from injustice.
Exactly. Don't let someone suffer unfairly if you can help it. And this care, this responsibility, it extends beyond just fellow Muslims. It's really about valuing all of God's creation. It's a call to actively push back against harmful traits, like wanting to cause harm or discriminating against people based on their beliefs or their color or anything like that.
That's a perfect bridge to the next point, which feels so relevant today, the rights and the dignity of women.
Yeah.
How did the sermon address that?
This was truly revolutionary for its time. He, peace be upon him, put a strong focus on mutual respect in marriage. He said, "Oh, people, it is true that you have certain rights concerning your women, but they also have rights over you."
Mutual rights. That's a clear statement of equality in that relationship.
Absolutely. It directly challenged the prevailing idea that women were somehow property. He made clear their rights are God-given. He actually said, "Remember that you have taken them as your wives only under Allah's glorified and exalted be He trust and with His permission."
Under God's trust. That frames the marriage contract in a very sacred, responsible way. It's not ownership.
Not at all. It's a partnership built on trust and divine sanction.
And the sources really emphasize how this and his other teachings genuinely uplifted women's status. It reformed those pre-Islamic patriarchal norms, giving women a voice, a role.
Definitely. It positioned women and men as partners, complementing each other. And the sermon specifically advises men to treat women well and be kind to them.
Kindness and understanding seems fundamental for a harmonious life together.
It is. It's about conscious respect, seeing women as integral, valued members of the family and society, not as secondary.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Another area the sermon tackled head-on was economics. What were the key messages there? Seems very practical.
Extremely practical and, again, profoundly relevant. A major point was the absolute prohibition of riba, which is usually translated as usury or interest.
Right. Interest on loans.
Exactly. He stated, "Allah, glorified and exalted be He, has forbidden you to take usury. Therefore, all interest obligations shall henceforth be waived."
Waived entirely.
Yes. But he immediately followed with, "Your capital, however, is yours to keep. You will neither inflict nor suffer any inequity."
Ah, so you get your principal back, just not the exploitative interest. It's about fairness, preventing economic oppression.
Precisely. It's a foundational principle against exploiting someone's financial need. It aimed to create a more equitable economic system from the outset. And alongside this, the sermon stressed the importance of zakat.
The obligatory charity or alms tax.
That's right. And give your wealth in zakat. It's the third pillar of Islam, a core duty. It's seen as a way to purify your own wealth and ensure a fairer distribution within the community. It's a built-in mechanism for social welfare.
It's interesting how interconnected these economic principles are, preventing exploitation on one hand, ensuring support for the needy on the other.
Very interconnected. And there's a third piece too, integrity in all dealings.
The keeping your word.
Exactly. The principle, return the trust to whom they are due, was highlighted. This covers repaying debts, honoring contracts, fulfilling promises, basically, acting with integrity and accountability in all financial matters. It builds trust.
So, no interest, give zakat, be honest in your dealings, a clear framework for economic justice.
A very clear framework.
Now, this next theme is incredibly powerful and, frankly, something the world still struggles deeply with. What did the Prophet, peace be upon him, say about discrimination and equality?
This is perhaps one of the most famous and widely quoted parts of the sermon. The declaration was absolutely unequivocal. He said, "All humankind is from Adam, peace be upon him, and Hawa, peace be upon her." Then, an Arab has no superiority over a non-Arab, nor does a non-Arab have superiority over an Arab. Also, a white has no superiority over a black, nor a black has any superiority over a white.
No superiority based on race or origin.
None whatsoever. And then came the crucial exception, except by piety and good action.
Except by piety and good action.
Yeah.
So, the only thing that distinguishes people in God's eyes is their righteousness, their character, their deeds.
Exactly that. Not your skin color, not your ethnicity, not where you were born, not how wealthy you are. It's about your consciousness of God, your taqwa, and the good you do in the world. The differences between us, the sermon implies, aren't meant to be sources of conflict, but maybe opportunities to learn from each other, to recognize the diversity within the human family.
That's such a direct, powerful rejection of racism and prejudice. It reminds me of that Quranic verse one of the sources mentioned.
You're probably thinking of Surah Al-Hujurat, verse 13. "Indeed, the noblest of you in the sight of Allah, glorified and exalted be He, is the most righteous of you."
Yes, that's the one. It shifts the focus entirely from outward appearances to inward character to the heart and actions.
Absolutely. It establishes this principle of universal brotherhood, universal equality under God. And, connecting it to today, it speaks volumes to ongoing struggles for social justice everywhere. It's a timeless call to see beyond superficial divides.
Truly timeless. Okay, so as the sermon was drawing to a close, what were the final key messages? How did the Prophet, peace be upon him, sort of wrap things up and guide the community for the future?
Well, he made a very significant statement about the finality of his role. He said, "O people, no prophet or messenger will come after me, and no new faith will be born."
Establishing that his message, Islam, was the final one.
Correct. And then he told them what they needed to hold on to for guidance after he was gone.
The core source.
Yes. He said, I will leave two things, the Quran and the Sunnah being his teachings and practices, and if you follow these, you will never go astray.
The Quran and the Sunnah, the foundation.
The absolute foundation. These cover everything, core beliefs, duties like prayer, fasting during Ramadan, giving zakat, performing Hajj if you're able. These aren't just rules, they're practices designed to build both individual character and community cohesion.
It really sounds like a call for unity, doesn't it? Hold on to these core teachings, stay together as a community, and keep the message alive.
Very much a call for unity. And crucially, he placed the responsibility for sharing this message on everyone present and on all future generations.
How did he phrase that?
He said, all those who listen to me shall pass on my words to others and those to others again. And then this interesting part. Perhaps some of those who receive my words would understand them better than those who listen to me directly.
Wow, that's quite profound. It implies the message has layers, that future generations might find new relevance, deeper understanding.
It does. It underscores that Islam is meant for all times and all people, not just one group or era. And the duty to share it, to convey it accurately, rests on every Muslim. And it's mentioned the sermon concluded with him reciting that verse from Surah Al-Ma'idah, again, the one about the perfection and completion of the religion.
Bringing you full circle.
Exactly. And one source adds a specific final warning, too, about Satan, about Shaitan.
Oh, what was the warning?
Beware of Satan. For the safety of your religion, he has lost all hope that he will ever be able to lead you astray in big things, so beware of following him in small things.
So be vigilant, even against the seemingly minor temptations or negative influences.
Right. Don't let the small compromises chip away at your faith or your integrity. It's a call for constant mindfulness.
So we've covered a lot, from the sanctity of life and wealth, the rights of women, economic justice, this powerful call for equality, to holding fast to the Quran and Sunnah and staying united. The themes are immense.
They really are. Deeply profound and, as we said, remarkably universal.
It's clear these aren't just words from history. They feel like a living blueprint for how to build a just, ethical, compassionate society.
Definitely. So thinking about all this, the question for you, the listener, really becomes, what stands out to you? How do these teachings from over 14 centuries ago resonate in your life and our world right now?
Yeah, that's the core question. And given that instruction from the Prophet, peace be upon him, that his words should be passed on, maybe even to those who will understand them better, what responsibility does that put on you personally? Not just to hear these messages, but to really reflect on them and think about how they might shape your own actions, your contribution to making your community, wherever you are, a bit more just, a bit more harmonious. Something to really mull over.